What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Screenshots, the drinking game movie podcast. We just got back from seeing Indiana Jones, the Dial of Destiny.
Dude, take it easy. Slow your roll,
Slow
dude. You
my
can't even
roll.
get the words out.
I'm getting ready to talk about this movie. We're all a little bit ready about it.
I need a Dial of Destiny to slow your ass
We
down.
need to dial it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Go ahead, John.
What? Go ahead with what?
What's it about and what's it making?
What's what about? What's
Indiana Jones in the Dial of Destiny.
Okay, so what it's about, right?
Go ahead.
It's
go for it.
guess what movie in the franchise it is? Number
5th.
Okay. Archaeologist Indiana Jones races against time to retrieve a legendary artifact that can change the course of history. 2 hours and 34 minutes long. This is the first one without Spielberg, and I don't know if they can pull it off without Spielberg because I feel like Mangold has kind of sold his soul to Hollywood at this point. He did Ford v Ferrari, he did Logan, and then he's getting Indiana Jones, and then he's going to make a Star Wars movie.
Is he?
Then he's going to do Swamp Thing, and then he's going to do this. Like, he's doing everything now.
Jeez.
So, yeah, in this movie, we talked about The Flash being a box office bomb. If you want to watch my my box office prediction I did for The Flash, don't watch it because I was the complete opposite on that. I was so wrong. Anyway, Flash is one of the top 5 box office bombs of all time, right?
Yeah.
Indiana Jones is probably going to be worse because, let me tell you this, Thursday night previews, as of right now, it's like hitting between like 6 million and 7.5 million, which probably going to land it in with a, like $60 million opening. And the budget of this movie is $295 million.
Whoa.
Shit.
It's $300 million.
That's
so
crazy.
Fast X probably needed around like $900 million to break even, and that was $340. So maybe this movie needs like $750
Holy shit.
to break even. I don't know. It's not going to make its
I
money
don't
back.
think anyone cares about Indiana Jones.
Oh
that
my
much
god! Around the world is
watch
completely
it.
bombing. It's
Yeah.
not
Oh
like
my
pre-sales are
God.
non-existent.
This is Ford just wanting to get a movie out there
Yeah.
before he dies.
Well, this is
Before
just
he
like
croaks.
them being like Indiana Jones. Like they literally have no movies that are like they're all going back to IP and stuff. So
Bro, it's crumbling.
literally that was the attitude.
The
of just,
industry is crumbling.
Another one.
It's
They're just
so
hot
bad.
potato. Get it out there.
Holy shit. Well, but Harrison Ford is being Red Hulk though for the new Marvel stuff. So
Allegedly,
wasn't he?
he was asked, and he was
wasn't
like,
wasn't there
"What's
a picture on set of him being the Red Hulk?
no?"
Oh, there was.
There was a picture of him. He had pants that were ripped, I think, but there was no picture of him being Red
Oh,
Hulk.
yeah, no.
I'm
But
pretty
also
sure
he was
there's a
asked.
quote of Ford going, "What is Red
Yeah,
Hulk?"
I was about to say.
Like,
He goes,
Well,
"What?"
that,
He goes,
yeah.
"What's a Red Hulk?"
He's at least the general.
He never
though.
knows anything, Harrison Ford. I
Yeah.
think he only thinks. I think he only like knows who Indiana Jones is, and all of his
Yeah.
other characters. He's just like, "You want me to say get off my plane? Why?
Yeah.
Who am I in this movie? The president? Okay."
Like
he doesn't care.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do you guys think about the movie?
You know what? It's funny because kind of mixed. I feel like it has everything that makes an Indiana Jones movie good, but then it's just bad for some reason. You know what I'm
I know
saying?
exactly what you're
But
saying.
it's like not a bad. I can't say it's a bad film. I saw like 4 out of 10 reviews. I'm like, I can't agree with that. I've seen like 8 out of 10. I'm like, I can't agree with that.
Damn.
I liked like the set design. I liked the characters. I liked some of the dialogue. It should be a stronger film than it is. I don't know. Maybe I actually need your guys' like.
It's less than the sum of its parts,
Well,
as some might say.
I
I
think
need your opinions because I.
All right, you
I-
need
I
my
feel.
opinion
Like
specifically.
Johnny's-
Okay,
Go
yeah.
ahead,
So I'll
Johnny.
go.
Yeah.
So the first 30 minutes of this movie is like perfectly solid. It's good because
Yeah.
there's action set pieces that are actually creative, and you're okay. I haven't seen that. There's stuff going on. There's a nice sequence with a train that's really good, except for one shot of a little rubbery Harrison
Yep,
Ford
yep.
running on top of the train, which looks awful.
True.
The The de-aging on Harrison Ford, like it's fine, but like I can never not look at it.
Compared
Like
to
I'm
The
always
Flash,
just
it's a godsend.
like, this looks bad.
that's a weird choice for the opening.
His
too.
face looks a little draggy
Yeah.
and
It
stuff.
makes it almost
Agreed.
feel like it's turning into the Polar Express a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the effects
Definitely-
are starting
definitely
to
in
go
the jumping,
south.
yeah.
Yeah.
Snowpiercer meets Polar Express.
I like that sequence though, but
Yeah,
with
it's
the train.
great.
So, but then the problem with the rest of the because obviously they have like a body double on it, like for Indiana Jones, and it works well because you could actually believe that he's like fighting these guys. But then the problem with the rest of the movie is you have these action set pieces. Like there's another one, and like when there's with the parade, which visually looks really nice, and I think
Oh yeah, it does.
so,
Oh,
it's
that
a
was
solid action
awesome.
sequence. But even there, you start to get this thing where like they're doing this stuff with like practical effects, and then they just cut to CGI Harrison Ford going like this on a green screen,
Yeah.
and he's not there. So like they have like solidly constructed action, and then they're just cutting to Harrison Ford going.
Yeah.
Like he's not there. So that's one of the things. Like he doesn't really do much physically. in
Like
this
there
movie.
were scenes where Harrison Ford or Indiana Jones was like, "Oh, this would have been such a cool scene if he was 20 years younger. Like if he
Yeah.
was able to, or like
20,
40
yeah.
years younger, or
Even
whatever."
Crystal Skull, he was still looking good.
Yeah, like because there's things I'm like, "Oh, young Indy would have done that like this differently." And obviously, okay, well, I have to put myself in the era of where this movie is, so I get it. But there's things that I would have liked so much better if he was younger. But what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
There's a few sequences where like the bad guys are there and he's like, "You son of a bitch," and he goes to like hit him and they literally like just push him with one arm.
Yeah,
Because he's a frail old man.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, this 80-year-old man is trying to punch me." They're like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And then he's like, "Oh, damn."
There was this one scene because that happened a few times. It was like, oh, there's no way they're gonna try to convince us that he's gonna beat up these people, and he actually doesn't, like you said. But there's this one scene. It's not really much of a spoiler, but I'm not gonna do it anyway. He basically just like he gets surrounded in this one time, and he's like, yeah. What am I gonna do? Essentially, it's like it's so fucking funny because it's true. He can't really do anything.
Like there's a scene like he gets surrounded by the bad guys at one point, and like you think he's gonna like at least punch one guy before they like, knock him out or whatever, but he just like goes to smack the gun away from the guy, and the guy just like catches his hand like awkwardly, and it's like nothing happened. He's just like, oh, okay, like it's weird.
I will say though, and I said this to Wesley before that. I actually had like a lot of fun watching this movie, and especially like you said, the first 30 minutes was great, and the opening, aside from the CGI shit, was awesome. I loved watching it. Anything, this is what I said to Wesley, anything after Crystal Skull, like after Crystal Skull, nothing means anything anymore. It doesn't fucking matter. So knowing that it's all bullshit, I watched this movie and I had fun because I didn't have to be like, oh, there's ruined Indiana Jones. It was already ruined.
I personally
So I
had
liked
a lot of fun watching you say CGI.
I knew that was coming.
So Mark has to take a shot because he said CGI and I wrote that word down. Anyway, Wesley, are you back? What about you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I call it a word that he said like 5 minutes ago?
10 minutes ago?
Like 3 minutes.
I mean,
You
you were
can't.
talking.
Yeah, you can. So it has to be either during his speech or
Or right
15
after.
seconds after.
Oh, I see.
Or like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought I could wait.
Yeah. Well, you could wait 15 seconds after. So save your word. Don't tell us what it is. You can call him out and get later. But what are your thoughts?
Did we give you enough ammunition to start talking about the movie?
I kind of forgot what the question was, to be honest.
It was just,
What?
what do you think? So what do you think about what's your first thoughts about the movie going in without spoiling it? What did you think about? How do you feel about the fifth installment
I
of
think,
Indiana
I think
Jones?
I said it. It had everything to make it a good movie, but for some reason, it just
I guess you're right.
fell flat.
Yeah.
And I'm
Alright.
still trying to decide, even after what you guys said. I don't know.
Well, you know what?
I mean, what do you guys think? Is it a
well,
good
we'll
film?
we'll move
No,
to.
don't get to that. Julia, go.
I don't even know what he said.
I don't think it was like ruined for me in that exact way. I just think that like I have this like big air of nostalgia around the first couple because I saw them so many times when I was younger and like played video games, and like same with the older Star Wars movies. Those are always going to be my favorite. Like those are going to be the ones that I think were the best, that had the best plot, that were made the best, even if they weren't made so great. I still watch The Mummy with no shame and I enjoy it,
What's
but
your
it's
favorite one?
awful. Out of
The original 4.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Well, the original 3.
The Crystal Skull.
You said original.
Fuck.
There's 4.
What?
There's 4.
I wouldn't consider Crystal Skull one part of the original though.
Okay. Well, they're all part of the original because they're all the same franchise.
All right, get fucked.
The second one?
You like Temple of Doom the best? Interesting.
Really.
Raiders, maybe.
I like Raiders of the Lost Ark is my favorite. I actually read the novelization of that movie. It's
I
one of my
didn't.
favorites.
I liked Raiders until they went to Las Vegas. I liked them
I
when they
will
were the
say it's
Oakland
been a
Raiders.
while.
Shut the fuck. I was like,
They
when
went
did
to
they?
Las
What did they?
Vegas?
Yeah, no, you're just being a piece of shit.
Uh,
Jesse, what'd you think?
Bro, this movie was straight up trash. No, I'm
You
kidding.
didn't like it
I'm-
at
no,
all?
I'm kidding,
Oh,
I'm kidding,
okay,
I'm kidding,
okay,
I'm kidding, I'm kidding. No, I thought it was above average. I think the thing is, it had a very strong opening. It definitely
Yes.
hooked me a lot. Again, as many people will say, the de-aging or the CGI was a little wonky, but at the same time, it did look really good in certain lighting and certain scenes. But at the same time, too, when we got to the point where like Harrison's like, or he is
Yeah.
now, like I feel like there were so many times where it got worse, and also certain characters. I'm not gonna say who. Certain characters die a certain way, and then you're like, okay, like that's weird, and then something happens to Indy, and you're like, wait, what? Like,
So you feel like they weren't earned?
It was like
They
it
weren't
was
earned-
pointless.
kinda, and it was just, I don't know, it felt weird, but overall, honestly, I'd say I enjoyed myself with it.
Well, yeah, well, exactly, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had so much fun watching this movie, and I think Johnny said a little bit about this before. It's like the set design, whether it be CGI or like practical, everything was convincing, and I like actually watching.
Especially the parade.
Especially
was
the
great.
parade. The parade looks
parade
so
looked really
good. It
cool.
looks so good.
Yeah.
And I enjoy being in a. Cause we're so used to seeing Marvel movies. We're so used to seeing like Space Ranger movies. You know, I liked kind of being a little bit back in time, and I liked the nostalgia of Indiana Jones. Even though like some people, including myself, complain about people trying to sell nostalgia, but I liked being back there, and I liked it was in the '60s, and I thought it was really cool. And I remember watching Crystal Skull when I was really young, not realizing like how cruddy it was until I got a little older, and I had so much fun watching that movie. And it brought me back to be like, I'm watching Indiana Jones. I really liked it. I had fun.
I do like the backdrop of it being the space race because you can see like he's a man who's obsessed with the past, like studying the past, and everybody's looking towards celebrating the
Ooh.
future.
He said past.
Everybody's
I got
celebrating
it for that too.
and everybody's
Nice.
celebrating the future, and he's walking back or to the left.
Yeah.
And you're like, you could tell, like, I'm like, okay, that's good, and like that's a good backdrop for his character. But people were talking about like Phoebe Waller-Bridge being in the movie, and people were gonna be like, oh, it's gonna be all woke now and stuff. It's not. Doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah.
Who's
character-
Phoebe Waller-Bridge? That's
She was the girl.
the god.
The goddaughter, yeah.
No, not the god.
The god.
But she was the girl, and she was probably the most uncompelling character in the movie.
Helena.
No way.
Every time she was
No
on screen,
way.
I'm like, dude, she is so. There's nothing to her.
That's
Like
not
she has
true.
no charisma at all.
I
think
almost
she had
didn't. I just
charisma.
like. I almost didn't feel neutral about her. I just like kind of disliked her a little bit. Like she
Wait, what
felt
do we
like a very
dislike about
forced
this woman?
character.
I don't dislike anything about her. She just
I don't
has
like
no
her.
energy. Like she has no charisma to her. Her,
I
her
wish-
character
I
wasn't
liked her.
compelling.
I liked her.
I wish they brought back Short Round. Like,
That would
he's
be
my
cool.
he's
That'd
my
be so
favorite.
cool.
Well, if he
That
won
is
an
my
Oscar,
favorite.
if he won an Oscar 2 years earlier, they would have.
That's true,
Yeah,
but I don't
true.
know. He's my favorite like side character in all of
Yeah.
the series. I'm not even gonna
he's
lie to
cool.
you.
Yeah, and passing the mantle on to Short Round. But there's
Yeah.
never another movie after it.
No, exactly. He's
Yeah,
never
dude,
in
they go.
anything.
They finally give like the lead to like a minority, and then the movie completely bombs. And then this few it's completely irrecoverable. Like you can't. It's done.
Yeah, that's so funny.
So then
Yeah.
everybody blames him.
I
for the
had
movie.
Minority.
Huh?
I had
You
Minority. I'm
fucking
kidding. I'm
did it.
totally kidding. But yeah, any other thoughts? Do we want to go into ratings?
Any other thoughts?
Thoughts? Do you want to go into
You know
ratings?
what a thart is? It's a
Um,
thought that sucks. It's
Yeah.
a thart.
I have a lot of those, I guess.
There are 3 instances, well, I'll get to in spoilers, where Indiana Jones 100% should have died in this movie. And
Yeah,
like
there
I
are.
said, then it's like, well, I think there's actually
There's-
there's more, but there's one scene in particular. It's on the trailer, obviously, but maybe 4 actually. Yeah, and it's like, what the fuck? It's like plot
Yeah.
armor has never been stronger for this guy ever.
There's so many times in this
And-
movie.
And God
where-
knows his
One
frail
more-
body needs it.
Yeah.
And
it
one
does.
more thing.
It might have been a spoiler. I'll
feel
cut
like the
around it.
last 2
I'll cut.
minutes were
I'll cut
spoilers.
around it though.
Sorry.
There is one big guy in this movie. Like
I
Jesse,
like him.
Jesse was saying that we might have cut it out because it might have been a spoiler. There's this like the brute character. Is he actually that big? He was huge, or did they like?
He was giant. Well, he was Drago in Creed 2.
He is gigantic, bro.
He was a big
That was
guy.
crazy.
I like Boyd Holbrook. I liked how everybody looked like they were in the 60s.
Yeah,
Like Boyd Holbrook had like the weird mustache. His character was weird. He was like a
that was weird.
southern fella, and then the
That
girl
wants
with
to
the
be a
afro,
Nazi.
and then the spoilers, and
It's not a
then
spoiler.
I don't know, and then yeah, everybody just looked like they were in the 60s. It was fun, except for Phoebe Waller-Bridge. She just looked like a lady who knows what an iPhone is.
yeah, yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe that's why I felt she was out of place. I
You're just
don't-
unconvinced.
also, the movie. Also, I wrote down like,
Her clothing
Do you-
felt 70s.
well, I'm not talking about her clothing. I'm talking about her presence on screen. Like her
Oh.
face, like Dakota Johnson. She looks like she knows what an iPhone is. You know. You want to go into the Instagram thing?
Yeah.
The overall thoughts.
Let's do it.
My overall thoughts for this movie. I did write down a note in my phone, saying there is a good joke, but I don't remember what the joke is or where it occurs in the movie. But I remember at one point going, So that's probably the high point of me for this movie. I don't think I liked it as much as you guys. I think it was just a lot of
Yeah.
like, again, like just to recap, like a lot, like in the beginning, there's a lot of good action sequences because
Yeah.
they have a body double working for the de-aged Harrison Ford. And then when we get to the main story where he's 80 years old, it's just like cool action with cars flying around and then cutting to Harrison Ford on a green screen going, oh, so,
he said 80 years old.
oh, that's 3?
No
way.
way.
Nice.
Yeah, old. Yeah.
Oh,
Holy
old, okay,
shit.
old. So,
Okay.
so yeah, I wasn't really that. I think after the first 30 minutes, it's all downhill from there. And then it sort of goes back up a little bit, and then it goes back down. Like really cool.
So what's the rating system? Want me to give my overall thoughts and then it'll come back to you?
How many times did Harrison Ford break his hip while filming this movie? Out of 10 do you give it? I'm sorry, Harrison Ford. You're a good man.
Yeah, he's a big fan of ours too.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, like I said before, after the Crystal Skull, nothing matters, right? So if you're
Why?
because it's like it's about aliens. It's just it doesn't feel round. Like not that it ever really
No,
was
they
grounded.
specifically say in the movie, Mark, that's an interdimensional being, not an
Wait, did they
alien. And they
really?
looked at the camera and they said that, yeah.
Did they actually say interdimensional beings?
Spielberg didn't want to do an alien, so George Lucas, I think, wanted to do an alien, so he was just like, just say it's an interdimensional being. So in the movie, there's a guy who's like, it's an interdimensional being, and then he winks at the camera. So yeah, it
Anyway,
wasn't an alien.
so it was kind of like out the window after the fourth movie. So at the time, I was too young to realize like how cruddy it was, and as I got older, I realized. So when I went into this, I wasn't gonna be like, oh, I hope they don't fuck up Indiana Jones. I hope they don't ruin it. I was just able to remove myself from that, mindset and just have fun.
Mm-hmm.
I loved watching all those scenes with the action, and I had a fun time, like you're supposed to when you go into the movies. I have nothing to say like I can't believe they did this wrong. I'm not about to go on YouTube and make a video about how bad this shit was or anything, because I just had fun. I enjoyed it. There's nothing outstanding that I have to mention that's like, this is why you need to see it. I have nothing horrible, which is like why you shouldn't see it. I just had a good time, and if you want to go to the movies and like feel like what it was like to be 15 years younger or whatever, whenever Crystal Skull came out, go to the movies and do that. Like go back in time a little bit and feel like just like you're having fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's a popcorn
So
movie.
what's your
I like
rating?
I actually kind of want to add to that a little bit though.
Okay, I'm getting my rating and go right into it.
I didn't give my rating yet.
That sucks. I give it
How many broken hips out of 10?
a 7.9 broken hips.
Jesus Christ, really?
I
Wow.
loved
I feel like
watching
that's
this
really
movie.
high.
I
Yeah,
loved
it's kinda
watching this
high.
movie. Go ahead, Wesley.
I will give it a 6.5.
6.5 what?
I think 6.5 broken femurs. out
Whoa.
of 10.
Femurs?
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's rough. At 80,
Broken
at 78,
femurs.
he's screwed.
You're breaking your
Holy
femur
shit.
6.5 times. How do you break it a half of a time? Can't you just break it? Like, is it
It's
just
a fracture. It's a fracture.
Yeah, it's
6
true.
breaks and 1 fracture.
Yeah, it's okay.
So go on, Wesley. Sorry.
So actually, one thing I want to say is we talked about nostalgia with this film, but I think they did nostalgia correctly. So they didn't do like something corny where like Indiana Jones travels to like all the set pieces from the old films or like very obvious references. It was just like, hey, this movie, it kind of stood alone on itself, which I really liked. It's its own movie.
Yeah.
And you'll have references like, oh, the eels look like snakes, and he's like, oh, I hate snakes, so that's cool. But like, I really like that it was its own thing.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for that. I think nostalgia is like it's turning into like a market today, and it gets really cheesy and obvious. And they're like, oh, we're gonna throw in this actor from 6 years ago. Do you remember him? Do you like the
Yeah,
film?
get a
now?
little
Do you-
bit closer.
Eels was on.
But
my
yeah,
list.
no, I totally.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, she got you on eels. Sorry. But continue your thought.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
They were just there.
But no, continue your thought first, though. So yeah, like I understand
I
the
think I made my
nostalgia
point.
thing.
It's not cheap nostalgia. It's
Yeah.
like this film is its own thing.
I
and
totally
it just
agree with you.
happens to be nostalgic. A lot of the music was nostalgic.
Oh
but that-
yeah, the
that
music
kinda
was
comes
great.
with it,
I
yeah.
love the music. I thought it was
So-
fantastic.
I have a lot of respect for the film because of that.
Yeah, awesome, good. So what, you gave it a 6.5?
I might change it to a 7 actually.
Not
I
the-
kind
oh,
of
what the
convinced
fuck?
myself a little bit. I mean, it was a fun film.
He talked himself into
Yeah,
it.
he
Yeah, I
talked
talked
himself
myself
into
into
it.
it. Yeah.
I kind of like the way you worded that a lot. I think that they did do a lot of the nostalgia correctly in the sense that, like, he was just still the same old guy where everybody was like, oh, like, are you getting back into it? And he's like, no, I'm retired, blah, blah, blah. But, like, really, like, it was him doing the same old thing he always does. He's just
Right.
making old man jokes now. So, like, it was, I don't know, the concept was there. It held the same plot line that it always would. And it played out the way you expected it. And I think because of that, it clung to being the right kind of nostalgia, and it was still its own standalone plot that didn't call back to anything else except for like his personality as character.
Exactly, yeah.
So I liked that.
Very well put.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How many hips?
So I
Yeah,
think
how
I
many
kind of
broken
just talked
hips?
myself up a little higher too. I'm not gonna lie.
You actually reminded me of this one. Yeah,
7.1.
give your score. I'll say it
I
after.
was
I'll say it
gonna-
after.
Go ahead, Julia. What is it?
Yeah,
I'll
what's
do
your score?
I'll do a 7 too.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like the
7.2
maps.
7.2 what?
No, she's saying she'll do a 7 as well.
Oh, 7.
Nah, it's on the paper. Let's leave it.
Let's leave
You know what? I'm
it.
gonna leave the 0.2 extra points for the maps
Oh, when they brought the maps back.
The maps like as the cutscene
Yeah.
to them like
Oh, yeah.
traveling
Oh,
with
yeah.
the red
Yeah.
dots.
Yeah, the editing was
that
really cool.
I just
Yeah.
like that. That was
100%.
they used to do that in the old things. They did in the game.
All
I
right,
like that.
Jesse.
All right, Jesse.
All right.
You crying over there, dude?
No, I don't know.
This movie is
No.
emotional.
No, exactly. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's one issue I had with it. But aside from that,
Made me cry like a little girl. I hate this movie.
I'm actually gonna go pretty high, just because of how strong the hook was in the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a
had so much fun.
7.7. 7.7.
Ooh,
Wow.
I love this
Yeah,
movie. It's
no,
so much
and-
fun.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I just
It's so much fun. What do you
what
mean,
was I gonna
Johnny?
say?
Sorry,
What
sorry.
was I gonna
sorry.
say? Shit. No, but it was really enjoyable. And I don't know. I feel like this year there's only been like select films I've watched and really enjoyed. So it's like to have this one too is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I have a question for you, actually.
Yeah.
So you say the hook is the strong point the first 30 minutes. When do you think it starts to like fall off a little bit?
I think, well, I think it falls off right when I kind of liked it, because I did kind of enjoy seeing Indiana Jones be like this grumpy old man, because it shows that he's like, you know, kind of aged, like he's grown and everything. He's finally like accepted, okay, I'm not doing this archaeologist shit anymore. I'm not fighting Nazis no more. I'm like, I'm
He's on their side now.
fuck.
He's just being real.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
And,
The times are caught up to him now.
He's
an
still a
Nazi.
real guy.
yeah, no, there's not like much he can do. So I think that having him in that light,
A 78-year-old
really
white man
interesting.
in the 60s. Kind
Exactly.
of
Yeah,
dangerous.
dude.
but
what
I
a
was
time.
like,
What a time.
but no, I enjoyed that. But then like the more they kept going, that's when I was like, okay, I get it. He kind of sucks at everything now that he used to be good at. So yeah,
There's no innovative action they can do with an old man.
yeah.
Like
which
in the
makes
beginning,
sense.
there's the two good things. We were like, oh, these things have their own sets of rules right now, and then everything else is just, oh, it's a car chase. Oh, okay, it's a shootout.
I got you
know?
on Chase.
I thought the car chases were really creative. Like the action, this movie was really fun to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, the first 30 minutes, I wouldn't agree with the rest.
I had a lot of fun. You have 2 shots to take, by the way.
Yes.
There's one more thing I was gonna say, but I can't really remember what it was. Johnny, you have to give us your score and don't change it because of how high we rated
I
it.
have the same exact score as I was gonna say
Okay.
the first time. I would not watch this movie again.
Okay.
I don't think it's very well. I think it's exceptionally lackluster.
Okay.
There's one part that got me excited, and then it was like snorting sugar. It was gone. It was gone in 2 seconds. Like
that even
the
mean?
excitement was gone in 2 seconds. I can't explain what that is because it's spoilers. But the first 30 minutes is basically the best part. If the whole movie was like the first 30 minutes, I'd give it like one of your guys' scores. But I'm gonna go lower, and I'm gonna say
Why are you thinking about it if you said you're gonna have the same score? As
I
you
know
before?
it's around this. I don't know whether to give it a 5.9 or a 6.1.
While you think about that, though, the one thing I was gonna say is when you watch Crystal Skull, imagine watching National Treasure, and it's like that's a good movie, and then the second one is like, okay, and now they're on a UFO spaceship. That's what Crystal Skull was like for Indiana Jones fans. But after
I really
that,
didn't like that one.
after that, it's
I
like,
think it's better than
who
this one.
cares what they do with it? Let's just have fun. Let's
Yeah,
just
I did
go
enjoy
for
it. He was like just like talking to people, and he's like just making coffee in the morning. And at one point, I was like, "Oh yeah, this guy saw an alien.
Yeah,
Like, he knows
yeah.
he knows that aliens are, are
Yeah.
a thing." Anyway, I'm gonna give it. Fuck it. I'll give it a 6.1.
Jeez.
I knew it.
Jeez.
6.1.
He came around.
He broke his hip 6.1 times.
So what's the total amalgamation?
oh good, dear Lord. I'm gonna say it's definitely above a 7 because you have the 7.9 and the 7.7. I'm gonna jumble it all up in my head. This is the longest Instagram clip ever. By
It's
the way,
not. We've had a 12-minute one once before.
What's
This is
the
this is like
hospital
10. This is
bill?
like 15 minutes. What?
I said, "What's the hospital bill?"
Oh, the
Add it
hospital.
up.
Yeah, what's the
I'll
hospital
put it in how
bill?
much money.
Oh no!
In today's America, it would actually be I don't know. All right, Harrison Ford broke his hip. 7 point
That's so funny.
7.25 times.
22
10.
5 times.
Holy
22 5
shit.
times. 7.25 times
How's
out of
this
10.
guy
That's what
still
Indiana
kicking?
Jones is the score. It's 7.25 out of 10. Boom, trademark a screenshot it, do whatever you want with it.
Guys, spoilers in 3, 2, 1.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So spoilers, yeah. So I went up to take a piss right near the ending.
Yeah.
And I want to know, how did they get to the 231 BC?
Yeah. So that was the thing where I was like, okay, the only thing I'm excited for at this point
Right.
is to see how they're doing the time travel. Because there was that one point where they're like, oh yeah, we gotta go to a boat, we gotta go in a cave, we gotta do this. Like, yeah, I've seen this all before. Oh, there's snakes in there. There's bugs. Oh yeah, we get it. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing that second, that the third quarter of the movie is like the most boring thing ever. And we finally get to the time travel thing, and as they're going into the cloud, I see like the sky, and I turn to Mark and I say, "Dinosaurs." And I go, "You fucking cowards! You better do it." I swear to God, if they go to 39 like Nazi Germany, or they go to like something boring, I'm like, they have to go crazy here. So what they do is they go to a point in the sky. It was really weird how it happened.
But how did they go to the sky?
So they in a plane. They're in the plane. They get in a plane. They bring in Indiana Jones. They go, "You're coming to the past with us, Indiana Jones, and you're gonna be our little prisoner." And so he's in the plane, and they're right about to get into it, and then there's this portal in the sky, and then Indiana Jones goes, "Wait a minute, the Continental Drift! You forgot about the Continental Drift, you stupid fucks!" And then they're like, "Shit, pull it back!" And then we're like, "We can't, whatever." And then they go. So he's like, "We're gonna go to a different time. You don't know what you're fucking talking about." And then they go to a different, which is the exact point where Archimedes was like making the thing, I guess, 2000 or 214 BC, 2,000 years ago. And I was like, okay, that's a nice middle ground between like dinosaurs and Nazi Germany. I'm like, that's
Middle
fine.
ground.
Yeah, middle ground. So, yeah, it's, and also they talk about like, oh, this is, using mathematics, we can predict that there's time fissures or whatever. It's like, or you can skip all the math and just look at the giant portal in the sky that
That's
people
true.
have definitely seen by now.
Yeah.
It's like because they go back to Rome, and there's just a fucking giant portal in the sky, a big hole with another sky behind it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Anyway, I actually was there in the theater. I just wanted you to say plane.
I got plane too. Actually.
Oh yeah, let me take my first shot.
Yeah, so you have another shot and a half after you're done with that one. Go ahead.
I'm like, when they were going back in time, that was actually where I was getting excited. I'm like, yes, finally something. And then it very quickly petered off because then the way they handled basically everything by the time they got in Rome was like completely dumb. It was like it didn't make any. As soon as they land on the ground, Harrison Ford just, "I'm staying." It's like, no, how about like you fight off the Nazis with Archimedes, and then you get to talk with Archimedes, and then you can be like, "Hey, I'm staying." Like he just touches the ground.
He
And
got
goes,
shot.
"I'm staying." It's
He
like,
was,
yeah, but
he was dying.
yeah, dude. But it's like, go just that didn't build. You didn't build properly to that at all. Everything just felt like it was being slapped together when they were in time travel in 2 seconds. It's like if you just play it out differently, like have him get shot at one point, and then some other stuff happens. He talks to Archimedes. Maybe they fight. The villains get a better comeuppance instead of just crashing in a plane, which is boring. And then he can be like, oh, and then he can be in the field and be like, "I'm gonna stay." You've been here for 5 seconds, and all people have done is shoot arrows. At
Okay,
you.
not to mention, they only had 3 minutes.
Not to mention, immediately mentions it.
That's just the phrase, Mark. That's a turn of phrase.
I'm kidding.
Oh my God, I'm not
3
gonna
minutes to
forget.
what?
Yeah, they only had 3 minutes. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I was gonna forget for a second. Phone slipping away. They only had like 3 minutes to get back through the portal, and that totally was way more than 3
Oh,
minutes.
yeah.
No, that was when they were
right.
going down.
Yeah, they went down and they were like, "Yeah, it's only gonna stay open for a few more minutes. We have to get out of here. Turn the plane around." And they're
Oh,
like, "The plane's
really?
not gonna make it." And then those people crash, and then they touch down, and she's talking to him for like at least 10 minutes. I'm like, and they're like, "We only have a few minutes. We have to go.
Oh,
It's gonna
shit,
close."
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I thought it would have been better if the Nazis
it's really drawn out.
instead of just crashing in a plane, like what if they just like became like prisoners in 2000 BC?
Yo, that'd be
or s-
nuts. Sets
that-
up Indiana Jones 6. We're like, we found Nazis 2,000 years ago. How did they get there?
I do like the idea of like somebody going in the ocean finding like a 2,000-year-old Nazi flag.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. If Harrison Ford was a younger guy and this was like the third movie or
If
something,
time travel was real.
it would have been actually the craziest sequel to this, where it's like we found all of these like modern day bullets and these skeletons from 2,000 years ago. Oh, when the fucking guy just breaks the window in the plane and starts fucking mowing
Yeah, it's
down
like, dude,
Romans.
also, I wanted to know more about his character. Like,
That's
why
the-
is he a
bro.
Nazi? Because he was learning German.
Where did they find so many Nazis? Where did
Exactly.
they find so
They
many
found
people
it
to
th-
agree
Reddit.
by the end? They had a giant
Yeah,
fucking
right.
crew, and these people who just had his plane and his nice pressed suit that hasn't
Yeah.
gotten beat up at all over
It
time.
was so strange. Like, what's Boyd Holbrook's motivation?
They're still there.
He's just like, man, I'm doing this damn Nazism, I guess. Like, I didn't know what he was talking, like, what his thing was. He was just, I guess, a crazy guy. But
I didn't even consider him like a character.
Yeah.
I was like henchman. Like,
Yeah, I
did he
guess
say
so.
anything? He just
Oh
shot
my
at
God.
people and then.
Speaking of like getting shot and everything, I think it's funny how Indiana Jones when he meets I'm sorry, I'm trash at names. The fucking guy with the dial and shit. He
Archimedes?
yeah, Archimedes, yeah.
Archimedes, yeah.
When like at first he's like, nah, I'm gonna stay. And like he doesn't get up to treat his bullet wound, but he gets right the fuck up to meet Archimedes. And then also, I said this before, there are 3 moments where like he 100% should have been fucking killed. He gets shot in the heart, and they don't treat it.
Well, they say it's
until-
the shoulder.
But it was like right
It was like it was borderline. I saw it was the heart, and then I saw it like right here. I'm like, they're gonna do some fucking shit.
He still should have
okay.
died. He got
Oh,
shot.
yeah,
Still
no,
should've
exactly.
died.
Because
Still
it's like
should've
it's
died.
like some oxygen shit. I don't know.
He just fucking got shot.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
dead.
Or yeah, and
He
then
lost so much blood and he didn't even pass
yeah.
out. Like I don't believe
Yeah.
it. I
And
don't
then-
believe that.
And then on top of that, when they're in the fucking I don't know India or some shit, I don't know where they were. They were surrounded by cops, and then he's like, hey, put your guns down,
Yeah,
And they just
yeah.
do it.
Well, because
And
the
I'm like-
Well, that's
mob
'cause the
pulls
mob-
up.
yeah.
Oh,
was
that's
behind- That scene was
true.
constructed
And then-
poorly. I'm like, that was a weird
No,
scene.
because
Yeah.
the timing was weird. It's like
timing
they
was
put
bad.
the guns down, they walk back, and then like 3 seconds later, then the mob just starts to
yeah,
show.
it
on
wasn't
screen.
like they
Yeah,
were
It's like-
behind them. Like, yeah, you better run.
yeah,
One,
That kind of thing.
yeah.
one more. Even I know I tried to suspend my disbelief because it's kind of because they're showing the trailers. When he's on the horse in the fucking train station, that horse would be freaking the fuck out. I'd be like, what the fuck? What is this big
It would have
mechanical
bucked
thing?
him off.
Exactly. It'll buck
way
him off.
early.
Yeah. What the
And probably snapped his neck or something and
he-
stomped on him. Like,
That would have been a better
Yeah.
ending.
No.
I think.
What's the
Yeah, because then the movie would have been over. It would have been an excellent 30 minutes, and then we get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
what's the head Nazi's name?
Schmidt.
Schmidt Schmidt.
Was it actually Schmidt,
Remember
or did he
it-
just say that?
that was his
fake
that was
name.
his
That was
fake
that was his
name. Appeared
Operation
Jewish,
Paperclip
right?
name.
that's fucking true.
Also, he's Warner Ron.
When in the beginning, when he's on the train trying to
Oh,
get.
I can't believe we haven't
he,
mentioned this.
He has to go after Indiana Jones, and he's on the side of the train. That fucking coal-powered train, I just looked it up, goes 40 miles an hour minimum. Maximum, it's known to go up to 5 miles per hour. He gets clocked in the head by a metal pole
That would've snapped
and
his
lives.
neck.
No, I
He's
would have survived.
dead.
He
He
was
didn't-
so
I would've
dead.
survived.
He
would've
didn't even
intervened.
have a scar.
His skull would have been shattered.
Like I was like, oh, is he gonna come back with like no like one eye just like drooping out of his?
No, he's built
No, he's
different.
like completely fine.
He's
He still
built-
looks
he's
like a
built
It's the
different.
German engineering,
Yeah,
you know?
right.
Or
Yeah.
just be completely disconfigured. Like, I don't know. Nobody can fucking live with that shit. But either way, like, you think, I don't know, they do some Red Skull shit. Maybe he has like a bunch of scars
Oh,
or whatever. And I'm
Red
like,
Skull.
that would be fucking sick. The first
He
like
fought Captain
super,
America.
the first super duper scary looking Indiana Jones villain. I feel like that'd be
Yeah,
interesting.
Red
but-
Skull. Can you imagine George Lucas like fucking do it?
yeah,
Put him
like,
in.
like Captain no Indiana Jones versus Red Skull. That'd be fucking sick.
There's
That'd be
definitely
amazing.
a comic book of that
That
somewhere.
has to
Speaking
be-
of comic books, I was like, why does he wear this outfit? Because there was so there's a scene right where the villains they go down in the water,
Yeah.
which is dumb, and then they go down in the water like, oh, we've gone where nobody else has gone before,
Star Trek.
100 feet further than where they find the wreckage. So they go down there, and then the bad guys come up, and they're all in the wetsuits.
Yeah.
And the bad guys come up, and then the next scene, he's just dressed in his outfit again.
Oh yeah. There's.
It's like so the villains would just like watch him like just like take the wetsuit off and like put it on or whatever.
That's
It's like
funny.
no, they wouldn't. They only did that because he has to escape and then still have his outfit on for the rest of the movie.
You know how? Wait, this takes place in the 60s. Confirmed. 69.
69. Yeah, he was
What's his? He lives in an apartment. What's his job?
professor.
No. He's the
I'm not gonna do it. You're trying to get somebody to say. a
Well, you
word.
already said professor, so get fucked. Okay. No. What's the
Oh.
other fucking
Oh,
thing he
shit.
is? He's the dinosaur guy.
archaeologist.
Whatever. Okay. So.
Okay.
Say it.
I don't give a fuck. And you
Okay,
someone
so-
got me on the word before.
So, how is he still? How is he not a homeowner? How is he like still like this guy who's like has to knock
Because
on?
he got divorced and Margaret
And he's
Karen
depressed.
Ellis
took all the
let
money.
his go.
spends all his money on
Mary.
Can we
whiskey.
talk about the death of
Oh,
his son?
dude! Oh! So in the movie,
Yeah, they
there's
killed
like I
Shia
was like
LaBeouf.
at some point I'm like, oh yeah, where's Shia LaBeouf? Because I'm like, how are they gonna explain this? And then they're on the TV. They're just like, yeah, he lost his son, and that's it. Like they just killed off Shia LaBeouf off screen. He went to war, I guess, in Vietnam. He got
Yeah.
smoked by a couple of. I'm not gonna say that word.
Oh no! Look at him drinking. Look at him drinking.
God damn.
It is funny how in this movie, like everything's the most convenient thing of all time. Like they're like, oh, we need scuba stuff. Like, oh, I have a guy actually like literally right next to the place where this dial is, and he's an expert fisherman and he has a boat and he's good at diving too. Let's go there. And I was like, oh, this is a nice callback to like I've seen all the movies, but I'm like, oh, this is a nice callback to a character who's probably in the movies before. And then I see it's Antonio Banderas, who I did not recognize. And I'm like, oh, so it's just a random fucking guy that they just made up?
He just has
Yeah.
connections like that.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, I need exactly what we need actually right now. Let's just do that. There's another scene where like, she gets in the plane
Yeah.
and she goes through the landing gear and then she just like pops open a corridor and then she just like finds a way into the thing.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't
there's,
think-
I don't,
yeah,
it's just
there's
there's
no
a lot of
yeah.
convenient shit that just happens.
Yeah. Also, they should have just killed Indiana Jones when the woman was like, "Yeah, I'll help you guys," because they don't need Indiana Jones at that point.
Yeah.
Wait, at what point?
Because apparently she can read the tablet.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, "Oh, we don't need Indy. They should just shoot him." Like,
Yeah, they
face,
should've.
like right there.
Also,
Well, the guy, he had history with
There you
that
go.
guy, so
With,
He wouldn't have killed him.
Max Mix. What's his name?
Mads Mikkelsen.
they just
Max
liked to
Mikkelsen?
drag him
Mads
around.
Mikkelsen.
Yeah, he
He
just
was
likes
very
to.
Mads Mikkelsen in this movie.
Yeah, he just likes to grab
Will
him.
what
So-
is that? Is that Schmidt? Is that his name? Will he ever play a good guy in a movie ever?
No.
Yeah, he was in he's a good protect. He's what was that movie? Another Round. It was that Danish movie that was pretty.
I've never
that was
heard of
years
it.
ago.
He what is it? One
He was
more.
Hannibal Lecter. Good guy. Famous good guy.
Oh, true.
He's Army Hammer's hero.
yeah,
My
yeah,
God.
yeah.
I was gonna say one more thing that just came to mind. Like when Mads and the rest Mad,
Madden.
when
Steve
Mads
Madden.
when
Madden.
when Mads and like the rest of the Nazis essentially like corner him when his goddaughter gets away.
Yeah.
Like he literally has nowhere else to run. Like most of the people that he's with have just killed like two people who worked in like the office where he works.
Yeah.
Like the only thing stopping them from killing him was the lady initially, but like she's like, "Oh, don't do that. We're not trying to hurt you." But then you see them pull out their
Yeah,
guns and
and
shit, and
this-
it's like he has nowhere to fucking go. And what's fucking like aside from
they
her?
think they need him.
Yeah, but I don't know. It like I literally was like, you could do it. The movie could end right here. It could end right here.
Speaking
But
of
still,
that,
Yeah,
speaking
that
of that
kinda
same
reminds me.
sequence, like they're so like merciless with everybody else. Like they just shoot that bitch in the back, and then when Indiana Jones like it's time to then like there's like 6 guys in the room, right? And then the girl runs out,
Yeah.
and then there's 6 guys in there, and then Indiana Jones grabs some paper, and instead of just fucking tackling this guy who's running 2 miles an hour tops, Boyd Holbrook just like tries to grab the paper. He's like, "Oh fuck!" Oh. And then he has a gun. Shoot him in the leg. Like, dude, just do something. Like,
Yeah,
there
he
was-
like picks up the arrowheads instead, and it's like, why would he pick that up?
Well, it was the notes. It was the notes from the notebook.
Yeah.
But then Boyd Holbrook just like he watches Indiana Jones pick up the paper, and then he's just like, "Oh fuck, he's
Yeah.
gone." It's like, dude, just fucking run.
Yeah.
That kind of reminds me. What is the point of the CIA chick? Like,
Oh yeah.
I
What was,
think-
she
what
just
was
gets
her
shot
deal?
in
I
the
think
stomach like halfway through.
I think
I
she's-
completely forgot she was a character.
I think she's
Yeah.
a vessel for exposition, and also to show how bad the bad guys are.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Well,
I can see it.
also though, like, did she know? Like, were they in on him being a Nazi still? Like,
well,
the
the whole
CIA
U.S.
knew?
government was, so it's like the U.S. government knew that
Well, that's
they
what I'm thinking.
hired
Like,
Nazis. so
they
she
were
was-
calling him his fake name.
Yeah.
Though, so like, did he dupe them or like?
Well, no, they probably knew he was like Warner von Braun, the guy who designed the V2 or what was it? No, Saturn rocket, who got the guys to the moon. He was the chief engineer on that rocket, and he was a Nazi. Like,
Okay.
he had the fucking scar on his face and would hang the slowest Jew in his factory, like an actual Nazi. So
Yeah.
that he was definitely based off
Based
off
off a
Warner
real
von
person?
Braun, yeah.
Okay.
So I think that was just like, but like she probably knew like, oh yeah, he used to be a Nazi,
That's
but
what I
she
was
didn't know
confused
that
about. I
he
was
had
like,
a
he's just getting
1,000
away with it?
Nazis just with him in an army somewhere on a
Yeah.
hangar in Sicily.
And everybody
with a
knows
time
about his
machine.
plan.
Yeah.
And they're all just like, yeah, go kill Hitler and be just like him.
That'd be pretty funny. It's actually funny that, like, because everybody goes, if you go back in time, would you kill Hitler? And he's like, yeah. Like, you don't expect a Nazi to
Yeah,
be the guy
yeah.
to say
Well,
that.
he even said that. He was like, "What kind of Nazi?"
if you
wants to-"
actually, according to this movie, if you want to kill Hitler, you're actually a Nazi.
According to this movie, that's right.
Yes, take that.
Bro.
Oh my God! Wait, imagine if
So
they
like,
could.
if you don't want to be a Nazi, you have to go back in time and give Hitler a
Shit.
kiss.
You have to save Hitler.
You have to give
Yeah,
him a big
yeah.
white kiss.
Bro,
Yeah.
instead of going to war with the Nazis, we just have to just not do anything.
Yeah, do nothing.
Exactly.
You're
Yeah.
absolutely
It's
nothing.
like, oh,
watch.
you're killing like you're basically doing
Let's
mass
see how
genocide.
far
You're
this
doing
goes.
you're doing mass genocide. Oh,
How far can
We're
we
not gonna do
take
anything.
this? Jesus Christ, bro.
Let's just keep playing baseball. They're fine.
Yeah. They'll be okay. All right, you wanna?
Wait,
Okay. Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, imagine if they could use the dial like a time turner, and it's not just like fissures.
That would have been more interesting if they can literally just rewind it.
Yeah.
Like
go
the
whoop.
time
That's all I
stone.
was thinking.
The guy's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, what's the big idea?" And then you go, "Whoop," and he goes, hey, what's the big idea? Like that kind of thing.
I did think it was cool how
I thought that was an like just like a portal in the sky, and that's the time machine. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that's
I did think it was cool how when they went to go see Archimedes' tomb, it had the carving of the plane. It was an eagle with propellers.
yeah.
So that was cool. But like at that moment, everyone's history or future is written. So like, it's not really like I guess it's kind of like paradoxical, right? When they go back in time. So like everything is exactly how it's supposed to be. And I feel like that's something I don't like about time travel movies, where like it kind of implies that there's nothing that these characters can do to change anything that's about to happen. It was
Right.
always meant
Well,
to
the
be
philosophy
this way.
is of this movie is, well, since they went back in time, then that's always what happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but I do think like seeing the watch in the tomb, being like, oh, he went. I think it would have been like better if like there was actually something that was like concretely. I feel like a watch is a very boring thing from the future.
Oh yeah, you're saying
It should have
this.
been like a DVD.
Well, it'd be
for,
one
like,
thing if
fucking
they
Showgirls or
noticed.
something.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
It would have been one thing if they noticed whose watch it was from the get-go,
Yeah.
but they didn't. They
Bro,
were just like,
fucking-
"Oh, a
Oh, a
watch,
watch.
that's out of place."
so
But they,
It would
funny.
have been so much better if it was
What
like,
if
oh
they
my god, a
noticed?
film print of E.T.
Or like Naked
the
Gun or something.
extraterrestrial. What?
Naked Gun, just
Yeah,
a
Naked
like
Gun.
fucking Leslie Nielsen is
Or a
just like,
clothed gun.
or a clothes gun. That's the sequel.
Or like a
That'd be
Nazi
funny.
A
symbol.
Raquel Welch
That-
Or a
poster.
Nazi symbol.
Nazi
Archimedes is a
symbol.
Nazi.
Oh shit! He's just like, these are guys. They must be great war heroes. I love them. I love them Nazis.
Holy shit. Well, but the
Archimedes.
swastika was a thing back then anyway. So
Yeah, it was like a Hindu thing, right?
yeah, it was. It stands for like peace and love or something.
Yeah, but on the
Not anymore.
but
They ruined
to
that.
avoid the confusion, it would be the Nazi symbol, and then under it would be
Wait, you know what I was thinking during the parade scene?
What?
If this movie took place during modern day times, it would be like the Pride Parade, and it'd just be the funniest thing seeing Indiana Jones on a horse like chasing Nazis
Meanwhile,
during
some
the Pride
dude in a
Parade.
bunch of
Oh
like,
my God,
leathers,
during
like twerking.
Pride.
and
Yeah,
everything.
exactly.
Yeah,
There's like
yeah.
people twerking or
He's-
whatever.
Indiana Jones just like he like crashes the motorcycle and like he does that thing where he like goes to get up and he's crawling on the ground and then he just sees one of those dudes in the puppy mask
Oh,
like on the
no.
ground crawling as well.
wait, stop.
And he's like,
That's
get the
kinda
hell out of
like-
my face.
And there's like naked men riding bicycles.
Put
and just like,
that
what the fuck is
man's
going on?
penis down.
That was the time dilation. They went to the future.
That would have been so good.
I was just thinking that, like, what if they like
Bro.
tried to do? They didn't even try to do
Holy
a
shit.
future type like reference at all.
Yeah.
Just once, whether it's Captain America or Indiana Jones, I want them to actually be racist like they probably would have been in the 1940s.
No, they go to Pride like
That'd
they
be
see
so
they
fucking
see like
funny.
two guys holding each other's dicks and
Yeah, they see
Oh
like,
my
they see like a
God.
bunch of
Harrison
furries
Ford
and
just
shit.
like put that man's penis down.
And then instead of like,
Oh, he has the
Because
whip.
He
no way
can't
they like
use
it.
the
Instead
whip
of-
He
there.
starts to
Oh
like
my
dominate all of
God.
them with the whip.
Holy
Dude. They
shit,
love
he's
him.
found
He
his
becomes a
calling.
bride icon.
He's found his calling.
He goes, they're like,
Happy
Indy,
ending.
you have to go back. And he's like, for who? And then it's all just a bunch of people twerking and shit. That'd been
Holy
funny.
shit. That's
For
so
who? The
fucking
girls,
funny.
the gays, and the theys.
Yeah, we need a
The
close-up of him
L's,
going
the
like,
B's, the
oh
G's,
God,
with
the
the-
no.
with the
B's,
furries.
and the Q's,
Holy
and the pluses
shit.
and the twos.
Cracks open a Bud Light and he's having a great time.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, that's fucking so
Oh,
funny.
he drinks Bud Light at the end, dude.
He's
winks at the
sitting in a
camera.
lawn
He
chair.
winks
That'd
at
be
the
so
camera like
funny.
Superman.
They
Holy
come back
shit.
like, oh, that'd be so funny. Like he sees a glimpse of the future, and he's just like, "Indy, what did you see?" It's like, Bud Light. They've ruined it. Like he's just so pissed, dude.
Feminism,
He
third
sees,
wave.
He sees 9/11, the Iraq War, all the COVID, and he's like, I can't believe what they did to Bud Light.
Yeah, yeah. That'd be so funny. Holy
What
shit.
what'd you guys think of the ending?
Which
cares?
one? The,
The end of.
the one with Marion?
Yeah, fine, cool. She comes back, excellent.
She's alright, I guess.
There was no build up to that either.
I thought
It
that was
just
kind
felt
of a,
so forced.
I thought that was low-key kind of a sweet moment, but at the same time too, it did kind of feel like, okay, they're just doing this for nostalgia, kind of because of how the interaction went.
Yeah, but it'd be
back
one thing
then.
if she like went on their thing, like their whole adventure with them, and then they like rekindled their relationship. It was just like he gets shot, and then she comes
Yeah.
back,
And
I
that's
think-
kinda
exactly
liked
what they
it.
did.
and then she's making inside jokes again, as if
Ooh.
everything's all good.
That's exactly what they
I
did.
really liked the ending.
Yeah.
Because it was like building up this like cheesy, like I'm gonna stay here. This is my last movie. I'm gonna die in a very like.
I thought
No,
they were gonna
whatever,
do
right?
it.
And then she just like knocks him out, and it's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. You're coming back.
That was
I
funny.
thought
Yeah.
that was funny. It was a good twist.
Yeah, but also I feel like it's taking the kind of stoicism out of Indiana Jones. Like you're just turning him into a fool.
A little
Like
bit.
I do,
Yeah,
I
how
do think
so?
it would have been better if he just not if he's like if he stayed. It would have been better if he just stayed because now you're taking his story, like the fate of his story, out of his hands, and just to some character who's not a good character.
That's
it just like
true.
punches him in a comedic way. Like I don't think it's a good way to end his like character.
And
I think
it's-
I don't think it's a good way to end in general. It's super corny. I was like, this cannot be the end.
Yeah, that was
This
dumb.
is,
especially
like,
since like
the
he was
conversation leading up to it. I was like,
like,
Jesus Christ, what's
he,
happening?
I'm sorry, he had like studied the past for like years, and then now he's finally in the past, and he's like, oh my god, this is amazing, because now like again he's finally there. He
Yeah.
doesn't have to like redo text pages, whatever the fuck. Like he can.
And like,
just
how
be
long does he
there.
have left to live? Let's be
Exactly.
real. Like, you
And
might as
yeah.
well do it someplace
I
dope.
know, and what the fuck else is he gonna do? Like,
How
I don't, it's just.
They're what 200 BC. How funny would it be if like at the end he stays in the past, and at the end of the movie, they go to like they go to a museum, and it's a statue of like Aristotle, and it's just Indiana Jones, and it says Aristotle. What was Well, he has just one name, right?
I don't know.
It was just like Indiana Plato Jones or something like that. I don't know.
Indiana
Like
Plato
he
Jones.
just like replaced the guy. The
That'd
same
be
way
so funny.
the same way that Schmidt was gonna replace Hitler, he just replaced
Or
like
imagine we see Indiana Jones go back in time,
Hippocrates.
and he's already seen all these artifacts in like the present day. So like Jesus is born, he's like, I've seen it already. The Ark of the Covenant, I've seen it. Don't look in it, I've seen it already. You know, that'd be kind of funny. Also, Harrison Ford and Han Solo have the same vibe in the sense where it's like they both don't believe in magic yet have seen so much of it on like themselves. It's
Also,
the
both of their
same
movies
thing.
are gonna bomb.
Is Han
This
Solo in
movie's
another
gonna-
movie?
Han Solo bombed.
Oh, it did bomb. Yeah, I thought there was another one coming
No.
out. Yeah.
But also, this is gonna make less money than Solo.
That's
Solo
crazy.
opened with 80 million, I believe, and this is gonna open with 60.
It was such an irresponsible choice spending that much money on this movie.
Yeah, it's
A lot
That
of
is not-
the de-aging.
a lot of big budget
Giant.
movies I've noticed they're not making their money back, except for select few are.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think that's because of the popular. I mean, don't get me wrong. Indiana Jones is very popular, but before I think
don't
you
think
said
it's that
before
popular.
it's like
It can't
I
be that
think you said
popular.
before like it kind of feels like Indiana Jones, like they kind of threw it at you, but at the same time,
Well,
too, it's crazy.
we got to end soon, but I wrote a script for a video. I still have to edit. I don't even know if it's gonna come out, but I wrote a script for a video, and in it I mentioned how like studios have lost faith in their own characters, and they don't really know how to, you know. If you have whether it be Indiana Jones or Spider-Man, it's like, okay, we have this character. We know that there's this huge sandbox they can play in, but we don't have faith that they can carry the story on their own. So we have to mix in all this nostalgia things. We have to mix in things that wouldn't really happen. They've also lost faith in the audience to be able to pick up on something that dense, and the audience has lost faith in the studios. So it's like the audience doesn't like the studios. Studios need the audience, but like don't have faith in them. So it's like they keep, and Johnny said this in the beginning, you probably said a little bit of it too, is that they keep going back to these old characters because this industry creatively is crumbling. They aren't doing anything. It's falling apart. And I also mentioned this in the essay, and I don't know if this is actually reasonable, but aside from people who are not making livable wages, and aside from people who have been wronged by their superiors, the writer's strike, the rumored actor strike, it's like I feel like people in this industry don't have passion for it anymore. People not to be boastful, but people at this table have passion. Johnny, Wesley, like we've all, Jesse, Julie, we've all done things with film. We've all written things or tried,
I'm purely in it for the money, though.
purely for the. So I'm saying like the only passion I really feel like there is at all is in independent things now, because any of the big budget stuff, it just feels like a money grab, and we know it. We know it is. So I feel like the studios have lost faith in the audience, have lost faith in their characters, and vice versa with the audience versus the studios, if that makes any sense.
Speaking of the big budgets,
I
like
think that's happening with video games too. Because
It is.
Indie
It is.
games are incredibly getting popular.
Yeah,
Stuff
get back
like
on the
that.
Sorry.
Yeah, indie games are like getting more popular, and they're kind of just getting a lot better. While the AAA video games are just like, Horizon Zero
Fucked.
Dawn, and has all these mechanics that every other game has.
Fucked.
But
Also, video
going back
game-
to the big budget thing though that Jesse said before,
Yeah.
like spending like $300 million in every movie. 6 years ago when I was dumb and I didn't know anything, or I was even less dumb than
That's when I
more
met
dumb
you.
than I am now. I was saying like, yeah, this isn't gonna work. You shouldn't spend $200 million in every movie. You should probably spend less on movies. Now, after this summer, we're like almost the majority of $200 million movies have bombed this year.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to do something about that. I think
are.
there's no way they can keep this up.
how did they spend that much money on a movie?
Reshoots, CGI,
CGI.
irresponsible.
I mean, because a lot of it is like contractors. Like if I'm a CGI artist, I get to tell them how much you want me to do that CGI work, and there's only 5 of me, and there's 18 movies this month that have to go out. You're paying me what I ask.
No,
so
it's the
like
opposite. The studios
explain.
bid. So the studios put out like, oh, we need this done, and then the CGI companies bid on it, and whoever bids, and then it's like
Oh.
whoever can offer the least amount of money or the charge
The lowest
least amount
price.
of, the lowest price. The studio goes with them.
Okay.
Is that
I
why
know
the
that.
CGI is like mostly shit, and then on YouTube it's like this guy does it, and it's like so much better?
Probably the CGI. The reason it's like CGI being bad is like why video games are bad now.
Yeah.
It's like sort of the same thing. Like there's not because you like we said this last time. The original Spider-Man had like 3 CGI like companies working on it,
Right.
and now like every blockbuster has like 15,
Holy shit.
and like you can't keep track. And like they're all like the Flash.
yeah.
One of the VFX artists. The VFX artist was like, yeah, if the CGI in the Flash looks like it was done in a week, it's because it was. So like,
Yeah.
Do you want to go to movie
Ouch.
recommendation?
Wait, I have one more thing.
One more thing.
I need everybody to weigh in on. How did you all feel about Teddy?
who cares?
Who the fuck was that?
Sure runs better.
Who's Teddy?
Um,
The
He's
kid?
The
He's the
kid
He's
who's-
discount short
I
round.
wanted to
This
get
guy-
one more
yeah.
thing in there. Kid was on my list.
Damn, she got you, dog.
But I also want to know because I thought he was like a fun little side character because they always have one.
Yeah.
And I like that, like, you know, they had him fly the plane in the end, like he was practicing in the beginning. And
I
that
like
was
the
like,
Italian guy who showed up. I thought he was
the
gonna
way,
beat.
I like
I
the
was
way
gonna
he
beat him
killed
up.
I love how
like
like
that
they
guy.
just chilled.
Yeah. He was
He
like, "Oh
was
shit! I
mad
guess
at him.
that we're in Spain."
He's like, yo, we're going to
Just
get your
over
friends.
Sicily.
Like, let's go. We're going to get them.
That was good.
Yeah.
And they didn't speak any English. They didn't speak the same language.
I think it's funny how they tried to give him something to do by just robbing basically just a random kid.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, that was like-
oh, we need him to get captured here.
No, pretty much. But I'm like, still, I was like, oh, did you really need? You could have had him get captured and avoid the part where you just robbed somebody. Like
Yeah.
that was
I
stupid.
like the way he killed the big guy with the handcuff.
Oh, that was fucking
brutal.
sick.
That was bad.
That was
brutal.
fucking
Imagine
sick.
being that guy. You're just like, fuck.
Yeah.
He could
No,
have broke out of
exactly.
that handcuff. You kidding me? He would.
No,
but
he
also,
couldn't.
Plot armor.
dude, he's like fucking 7 feet tall.
Yeah, I'm
Have you ever-
surprised they
have you
didn't
ever
have
been
him
put
break
in
the
real
handcuffs.
handcuffs.
He has like
Dude, that
muscle
guy
on it,
would
like
fucking-
keeps him down.
There's no way that's
Dude,
happening.
he fucking ripped his hand off.
Okay, get rip out of those handcuffs and then swim against stream to get out of
Yeah.
that tunnel.
Yeah, I was
Dude,
about to
not
say he's
happening.
about
Because
to
the
be dead
pressure's
because of the
Yeah,
the
it's
grate wasn't
It's
big enough.
not happening. Holy shit, that's brutal.
And
You
you
just
Anything
start
drowning.
punching
I
the
love
water.
that like the kid was able to get through that small breakage in the bars.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought
Yeah.
that was really cool. I was like,
That was a plot
cool.
armor thing.
that was plot armor. Like that kid was small. He wasn't that fucking small. He
Yeah.
was
He
like
couldn't
He
swim.
just it scratches
Yeah.
him and he gets tetanus,
couldn't swim.
dies.
yeah.
You're
so what?
awful.
So what the fuck happens? So what the fuck happens? Like, does he just stream just push him onto like fucking?
so
Because you just said
Shows up in the
he
super
like
room.
he can't swim.
That
Yeah.
should've
So
been
this
the
stream
end.
just push him out and he's fine.
Like, oh,
Like,
where's the kid?
he
Oh, he
needs- because he needs to tread fucking water.
That would have
Like-
been so
And
funny.
they're like, "Where's the kid?" He's like, the kid's like looking at his brown arm, going, "Fuck!"
Holy shit.
Gets
Holy
locked
shit.
up.
And
That's
then
so
he gets
funny.
stuck.
Oh,
And then he gets
no.
stuck in fucking
Oh,
Oh
fuck.
my
200
God,
BC
that's so
where they don't have a
funny.
tetanus shot to give him.
Well, once you get tetanus, that shot doesn't fix
Yeah,
you.
you're fucked. Well, they
It's-
got to chop it
Yeah.
off.
It's only there to protect you.
They just
before you
chopped
get
his
it.
arm off in BC.
Fuck, that's funny. All right, John, movie recommendation. Let's go. Let's
Wait,
do
hold on.
it.
Hold
No,
on.
I
I want
think-
one more thing, please.
Oh my
please.
god.
Okay,
Okay, so
last thing.
the thing about the kid is the reason why I didn't like him, or I couldn't like him, is I couldn't understand what he was saying half the time. And
Sometimes,
it's not
yeah.
because of his accent, but I feel like throughout the film, the audio
Sure.
was it the audio?
Yeah.
Did you guys
No,
feel
I
that
think-
like the audio was bad, or am I just
No.
deaf? Maybe I'm just deaf.
No, I
think
think
it's-
I understand you, but I don't think it was the audio. I think
Really?
he just mumbled sometimes.
Yeah,
I think personally,
Yeah.
yeah.
I couldn't tell what he was saying like half the time.
I don't think we spent enough time on homophobic Indiana Jones.
I think we spent the perfect amount of time
Yeah.
on that. Yeah. Just
Give us
I do
some
like
one
that
liner.
I do like that they leaned in hard on Old Man Indiana Jones being like, "Turn that music down,"
Yeah.
like just being really angry. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And he's in his underwear.
All right, movie recommendation. Let's go. Okay.
Also, he
This
always
is
saw the
iconic.
astronauts. He passed them by. That was cool.
no, everyone do yourself a favor and go play the original Indiana Jones PlayStation 2 Lego
That
game.
shit's so
Yeah.
funny.
Oh, Lego.
Yeah.
I was
Do
gonna say
yourself
play
a
the
favor.
Lego game.
Play
Yeah.
the
I was-
Lego game.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say go watch The Last Crusade. That's the best Indiana Jones movie.
That's your favorite one? I feel like that one was the
Oh,
most
Sean
mystical,
Connery.
where like a zombie Knights Templar just was like, "Hey, I'm here."
Okay, wait, y'all. Can we do something this summer? You can cut this out, but can we do something this summer where like maybe we'll do like a movie screening on like an outside projector?
That'd
We'll
be
do
sick.
Johnny's
Like, do a
movie when he's
thing.
done
That'd
fucking.
be sick.
Well, yeah,
editing
but
it
like
in
no, like
6
but like
months.
watch movies for fun, not just for a podcast
You know,
or to make
I
a
had
thing.
I
just to
had a
hang out.
projector.
Oh
Have a
my God,
bonfire.
We gotta watch
I
like a
miss
really
watching
bad
movies
movie
for
for that
fun.
then. Like a
You
bad but
understand-
fun movie, you know?
In the last 6 months, I've only watched movies in the theater. I've watched maybe 3
Same.
movies at my
Yeah,
house.
I've
Right.
really
I feel like
watched any movies
I
at
feel
home.
like what I'm forgetting what a good movie is because I used to watch. This stuff would be like the side movies I watch, and then I watch like mostly other stuff. But I feel like I'm gonna
That's
I'm
because
gonna
that's
fucking die.
you're working on your movie.
Yeah, no. What movie? I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, was that your recommendation?
Last Crusade.
Let's do word.
No,
of-
and also watch that video of that lady on the talk show accusing Sean Connery of being sexist because he said that you should slap women if they talk too much. And then she goes, "Oh, you still believe that, huh?" Like thinking she got him, and he goes, "Oh no, I have no change of opinion."
Yeah,
And she's
seen
like,
that.
"What the fuck, dude?" He goes, "Sometime with women, they want the last word, and you give them the last word, and they're not satisfied with the last word.
That-
So sometimes you just gotta give them a little smack every once in a while."
That
Okay, you did an interview in which you said, not the worst thing to slap a woman now and then. As I remember, you said you don't do it with a clenched fist, it's better to do it with an open hand.
I haven't changed my opinion.
You haven't?
No. They can't leave it alone. They want to have the last word, and you give them the last word, but they're not happy with the last word. They want to say it again and get into a really provocative situation. Then I think it's absolutely right.
What if she gives you a good slap back?
Well, then you get into another area. I mean, then maybe she's getting to like it, and then it becomes something else. I don't know.
Wait till people see this interview. Are you going to get mail?
Might get some female.
reminds me this one time. I'm keeping this in because it's funny. This one time we went on a day
So
trip,
long.
me and my friend, and he had to go to the bathroom. It was somewhere in Philly, and he was taking a piss, and this old guy came in his 70s. He said,
Oh.
and Timmy was done peeing, but it wouldn't flush. So he hit the urinal, and the man said, works the same way with women too. And Timmy was like, and he walked out of the bathroom. It was the funniest
Oh
shit.
my god.
All right, word
Domestic
reveal.
abuser Indiana Jones. Go.
Archaeologist, Professor, Plain, Nazi, dead. I got all 5. Wesley?
Old, final, and plain and past.
There you go.
I had gold, kid, Greek, water, and eels. I know that. I feel like we said water a bunch of times, but
I said eels too.
No, yeah, we
Yeah,
got
Oh, okay.
Somebody.
kid and eels were
Nice.
said, but those were all my words.
Go ahead, Jess.
I got hat. I'm surprised nobody said hat, chase, past, and plane.
All right.
Both had past.
I had. Wait, you said I saw. What was Rome?
I just cut that out.
Okay.
I was like, no.
I
Closer to
had
Mark John.
originals long time ago. Hat, outfit, and CGI.
There you go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know what the next one's gonna be, but whatever it is, we'll see you on the next one.
It's gonna be Mission Impossible, baby.
I think it is
See, that's why is this movie cost more than Mission Impossible?
because Tom Cruise does his own stunts. No
What
CGI.
does that? So
No
Yeah, also no
CGI.
CGI.
No stunt double.
I guess
Oh.
that saves you $50,000.
A very, very large insurance plan, though.
Yeah.
Probably
Man.
millions.
So
Man
would it
is
not
aging now.
cancel out?
Side note, to film legally in New Jersey, you need a $2 million insurance policy. Guys, thank you much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Does that mean I have to pay New Jersey?